so moving on to example 5. So, square roots in the order of operations fall in the exponent stage. So if you see square roots, that's going to act like an exponent would act. Right, so if you see square roots in your problem, that's where you deal with the square roots. In this case, we're square rooting 68.5 times 27.4. So within this, there's no parentheses per se in the square root, but if you got something going on inside the square root, officially that has to be evaluated before you square root. So when you see square root, you want square root of a single number. So if you have square root of stuff, you have to do some calculations. So the first thing I want to do here is multiply 68.5 times 27.4. So I go to my calculator because that's not a simple calculation. 68.5 times 27.4 equals, we get 1,876.9. So I've got 68.5 plus 27.4 plus the square root of 1,876.9 in parentheses all times 8/3. Now, the order of operations clearly states do what's in parentheses first. What's in parentheses is all this stuff. Inside the parentheses, we have to do the order of operations exponents first. Inside the exponent, I got an operation to deal with, so I did that first. So I'm working my way into the innermost parentheses. So square root of that is the square root of that, because that's what that product is. Now I'm at a point where I can evaluate the square root of 1876.9. So that's next, because again, within the parentheses, exponents happen before addition would happen, right? So there's an exponent in this, because again, square roots act like exponents. This, I have to evaluate that before I worry about adding stuff together. So I'm going to type in square root. I can either type in square root of 1876.9 or right above the minus, the negative key here, you see it says ANS. If I do that, what that tells your calculator, take the square root of the previous answer. So once an answer shows up on your calculator screen, the last answer showing up, if you want to use that, right above that, you hit the second key and that to get that. And then you hit your enter. It spits out the square root of 1876. And once again, a couple non-zero decimal places. So 43.323, I'd round it to 32. So I've got 68.5 plus 27.4 plus 43.32, all times 8/3. So I've evaluated the exponent to get to here. Now, what's left in the parentheses, because again, I'm still in the parentheses phase of the order of operations. Everything, I keep doing the parentheses until I get the parentheses down to a single number. All this is addition, and it's not hard to add, but there's double-digit numbers there, a couple decimal places, so I might just throw that in my calculator too. So 68.5 plus 27.4 plus 43.32. So the end result of all the inside stuff is 139.22. So 139.22 times 8/3. So again, that's sort of operations in effect. So I'm supposed to do this first, but I got to do that first because it's not a single number. Then I evaluate the square root. Now I've got a sum. Once the parentheses has been evaluated down to a single number object, now it's just number times number. And here's two ways to multiply by 8/3 with your calculator. Here's the first way. I can type 139.22 times 8 divided by 3. The 8 is on top, it's a multiplication, the 3 is on the bottom, it's a division. I hit equals, it'll spit out a right answer. The other option is to type 139.22 times, and then this button right here, just underneath mode, that's your fraction key. If you click on that, it creates a fraction structure. You type in your fraction, 8 on top, 3 on bottom. Hit enter. Both are the same exact answer because they're doing the same exact thing. Doesn't matter which one you go with, just go with one of the two techniques. So either do times the top divided by the bottom times 8 divided by 3, or you simply have to times and then hit the fraction key and actually enter your fraction in your calculator there. Maverick on Google, you'll probably just have to type in times 8 divided by 3. If you go to Google and type in 139.22 times 8 divided by 3, go, it'll bring a calculator up and I'll have the answer on there for you. All right? So 371.253 repeating, so 371.25 if I stop at 2 decimal places. 2 non-zero decimal places, there's my decimal, 2 and 5 are not zero, so just like that every time.